Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are continuing the ongoing reports of the New Japan Cup. Now, we're not going to be doing daily reports just because that's going to be fairly annoying, as well as the tournament is not daily. It's a little inconsistent, so we're just going to take it 4 matches at a time until we get to the finals, and we'll see how that card goes. But let's talk about the first round matchups, because all of them are done now. Naito versus ELP was good. It was a good back and forth showing. The nice thing is, one thing that I've never been a huge fan of with ELP is that he's very over the top, really eccentric. You know, and I get it, as a pro wrestler, you should have that, but at times it gets kind of annoying. This is where I go into like my cornet phase of you don't need to be springboarding all over the ring just to do a back rake, because that's what he does. Uh, it's a little annoying. So this match, it's him moving into the heavyweight division. He's gotten a little bit more serious. He's still very playful. You know, the whole thing. But he's been doing good. Him and Naito had a really good showing against each other. Really good clash of styles. A lot of, I think it's an inside joke between them, but Naito kept doing his whole signature thing throughout the entire match. He had him in a head scissors at some point, but it was a good back and forth, good matchup. Naito won it back in 2016, and then he was runner up last year. In between those times, he has lost in the first round, so it was good getting him the win. ELP, like I said, lost. This was his second New Japan Cup. He debuted last year. I think he lost in the first or second round. He didn't make it very far. Yeah, good match overall. Next we had Sonata versus Taichi, and that was the main event of night one. Taichi's growing on me. I didn't really like him. I never really liked his look. I never really liked his gimmick, and I still don't really like his gimmick because a lot of wrestlers have had it, and especially a lot of the wrestlers in Stardom have had it or had it because it's the same thing. But Taichi, I think, is growing on me. He's a good wrestler. They had a good back and forth, and they're kind of repeating a story that they did with Hiroku Goto and Yoshihashi, where Goto lost his fire. Essentially, he didn't really care. He didn't really show much excitement or anything in the match until Yoshihashi built him up to get that fire, and then they went into a tag team together. And the reason I say that is because that's exactly what they're alluding to. Is that they kind of, Yoshihashi and Goto had a little bit of a rivalry, just a friendly rivalry, and Sonata and Taichi, not the most friendly of rivalries, but they still have had one, with Sonata getting the better of it. And then Taichi's no longer with Suzuki Gun, he's with Just Four Guys, which is a dumb name. Like, in Just Four Guys, it's Taichi, Doki, Michinoku, and Kanemaru. I can't remember his first name, but it's those four guys. You could have done it. You could have done a lot of stuff. Taka Michinoku is essentially like not the leader, but the guy managing everybody, getting everybody together, being there for those guys. But you could have called it like Tap Out Enterprise. You could have called it. You could have just called it Tap Out. You could have called it anything. Michinoku something, but Just Four Guys. Great name. Not really, but whatever. The interesting thing is, so like I said, they're doing that whole thing, that whole repeat of rivalry with Yoshihashi and Goto ended with them becoming a tag team. So I'm wondering if either Sonata leaves LIJ or if Taichi will join LIJ. You never know. I think Taichi would be a good fit in LIJ compared to the other guys. He's kind of a weirdo, but so are the rest of them. Sonata wins this match. He wins with a new finisher. So his previous finishers have been the Cold Skull, which is a Dragon Sleeper with a what's it called, a leg lock to around the body. So it's a pretty good finish. And then his other one has been pretty much like a reverse DDT. Ooh, excuse me, like Naito. But he revealed a new finisher, and it's not new to WWE fans. It's Alexa Bliss's more recent finisher, where it's like the Blade Runner or the Sister Abigail turned into a DDT. What's his face? Velveteen Dream also did it as his finish. So that's his new finish because that's what he did to win the match. Yeah, I like it. I like the move. I feel like I'm starting to see it more often, and I'm not liking that because then it just feels watered down, right? Like you don't ever see anybody do the one winged angel. There might be one other guy that does it, and there's people that do variations of it, but you don't see the full on like Kenny Omega one winged angel. So that's my worry is that it's just gonna get watered down. But if Sonata does it well enough and executes it well enough, then I think he'll be probably the better version of that move. But we'll see. Night 2, we start off with Shota versus Yujiro Takahashi. Now, I love Shota. I've been a fan of Shota since he was a young lion and Moxley beat the fuck out of him. I've always been a huge fan of his. I like that whole story. Like, Shooter's Now My Son. That whole thing was great. He worked under Moxley. And, Shota, even though his look is not that rock and roller like Moxley has, it's closer to what Tanahashi and Okada wear. He still pays homage and pays respect to Moxley. Like, even though he's coming out in all white and very boy band like, he in his hand is Moxley's jacket that says Death Rider, a black denim jacket with spikes, and he'll come out with that. He also does the Death Rider, the double arm DDT. He pays his homages to Moxley as the man who trained him or took him under his wing. And I like to see Shota in AEW more. We saw him at Forbidden Door. I want him to be part of the Blackpool Combat Club. I think that'd be great because, the whole thing between Moxley and Danielson is let's get these younger guys to show them how to be a great worker. But you had Regal, you had Moxley, you had Danielson, you had Cesaro, all guys who have been around a long time, and your only new guy was Wheeler Yuta. Great choice, but he's your only guy. And then, Eddie Kingston kind of had a little thing with them, but Eddie Kingston hates Claudio and Danielson, and he doesn't really care. So, we need younger guys to be in that faction. That's what I want. So I want Shota to go there, and Danielson wants to go to New Japan. So let's work it out. But that's for a different video. During the match, Yujiro, it was talked about, statistically speaking, for the New Japan Cup, Yujiro Takahashi is the worst wrestler because he's had 6 straight first round losses. So, he hasn't really won a whole lot in general. He just has a good gimmick, and he has Pieter, or whatever her name is, as his arm candy. So that's always nice. He's a good valet. And then everybody in Bullet Club loves her, so why not? The nice thing that I liked in this match is Yujiro's part of the sub-faction of House of Torture, and the whole thing with House of Torture is there's always one other guy that comes out, and he comes out with the wrench. This time it was Show, I believe. Show, because Yo's the face one. Show came out, caused a bunch of distractions, didn't work. Shota ended up picking up the win. But the cool thing is Shota had shown off his different styles. Like he went to Excursion, trained in the LA dojo, went on Excursion to to Rev Pro in England. I think he went to Mexico, and he's done stuff in the States. Like you're seeing these different styles come out of him, which is nice. You see the chain wrestling that we get in Rev Pro and the joint manipulation, but you're also getting a little bit of that high pace Japanese style, but also mixed in with a little bit of that like lucha style working in the States and that showmanship you get in the States. I've said it once, I'll keep saying it, but Shota is the future of New Japan, and eventually we'll see it. Like I said, he may win it this year. My vote's for Shingo or Sonata, but he could be the dark horse. Final matchup is David Finlay versus Ishii. Now this is where the big twist happens. Because David Finlay has joined Bullet Club. It's something that we didn't see because he was always such a good baby face. He was very much against Bullet Club. He was very much against his friend Juice Robinson, his former tag team partner, joining Bullet Club. And ever since Juice went there, he's just kind of been lost. He hasn't really shown up on New Japan, and he started showing up on New Japan Strong, but he hasn't done much to anything noteworthy. On commentary, they talked about it. He had the night he attacked Jay White after Jay White's loser leaves match that he lost. So Jay White can no longer compete for New Japan in any form. He can only compete in the U.S. for New Japan if Eddie Kingston allows it. That was the stipulations of the match. But there was no inkling whatsoever that David Finlay was going to join Bullet Club. Him attacking Jay White, it just seemed like he's just attacking Jay White. It kind of seemed like a heel turn, but at the same time, he's had these issues. Jay White said he stole his best friend away. It wasn't something that was being seen or that no one really saw coming. And then the crazier part is when he came out, by the way, he's the Rebel, which pays a lot of homage to his father, Fit Finlay. Especially if you see his gear, if you just see the way he came out, vest with like shoulder pads, spiked shoulder pads. That's his dad to a T. But when he came out with Gato. And here's the thing about Gato. Gato's been around New Japan for a long time. He's wrestled for New Japan. He's done a lot for New Japan. If you're going to be managed by Gato, you're going to be the top star. Because this is his third person he's worked with. And who are his previous two? Jay White, Okada. And it's so out of left field, like David Finlay. David Finlay's now the top gaijin because he is under Gato's wing. And it's just like, man, I love Dave Finlay, great wrestler, great talent. We haven't really heard him speak a whole lot, but after getting that promo on Jay White, he's pretty good. He has all the fundamentals to be that top guy. It's just not seeing him be that top guy, taking those risks, taking those chances. Which is just crazy to me that he's now going to be the guy. So with the match, continue on with the story of like Gato. Gato betrayed Chaos when he betrayed Okada and joined Jay White. We still have that because now David Finlay betrayed Chaos to join Bullet Club, and he faced Ishii, which Tomohiro Ishii is a part of Chaos. So we had that kind of betrayal storyline in this match. It was very hard hitting. At the very beginning, before the bell even rang, as Ishii's getting to the ring, Finlay attacked him, and the fight started. And it was a very physical, back and forth, brutal match. And again, you see that side of his dad, of Fit Finlay, of that brawler, which is, we have that striking in New Japan, but we don't have that brawling side, like that dirty fighting style. So that's going to be a good matchup to see, and it was a good matchup to see in this with Ishii. It was a great match, and Dave Finlay won. I had just said that Shingo's my pick, but now thinking about it, talking about with you guys, it's like Is David Finlay the pick now? Is it going to be Finlay? Because why would he debut at the New Japan Cup as the potential even leader of Bullet Club? Because he took out Jay White, and that continues that story. Finn Balor, Prince Devitt got beat up by AJ. AJ got beat up by Kenny. Kenny got beat up by a couple people, Tamatanga, who then gave the reins to Jay White. And then there was the whole thing with Jay White and Evil when they had their whole little clash of who's the leader. So it continues that arc, essentially, of that. If Finley's the leader, but we don't know. We don't know how he's going to interact. But we'll see. Gato has that magic touch, and man, Finley might be the pick, and by Wrestle Kingdom, for sure by Wrestle Kingdom, Finley's gonna win his first singles title in New Japan. And he should have won the U.S. title a long time ago, to be honest. But could he just step above that and win the world title? The IWGP World Heavyweight title? Like, why not? We haven't won the, maybe Shingo does win this. And it takes this prize. It Finley takes the bigger prize of the G1. We'll just wait and see. I'm very excited for the next round of matches. So everybody that had a bye is a champion. So next up, we'll have Yoshihashi versus actually, this is still first round matches. My mistake from earlier. Next up, the last bit of the first round matches, we have Yoshihashi versus Kyle Fletcher. And then we have Shingo Takagi versus Aaron Hinare. And then after that, let's see. Oh, and then actually tonight we have, by the time this video goes live, we'll have Ren Narita versus Evil and Toriano versus Davis. I'm trying to remember his name. Oh, actually, no, this is Kyle Davis. And then the other guy is Fletcher. They're both from Aussie Open. So we'll see how that goes. And then after, on the 11th, we have our first we have the first set of round 2 matches. And this is where we introduce the people who got a bye, who are champions. So Kenta got a bye, and he's facing Sonata. Naito goes against Chase Owens. And then on the 15th, we get Shota versus Zack Sabre Jr. and David Finlay versus the Great Okan. It's all going to be really good. Shota versus Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be great, especially I think Shota was Rev Pro champion, and I think he beat Zack Sabre Jr. for it. So that'll be a cool match to see, regardless, and seeing those different styles. Kenta versus Sonata is going to be good. Honestly, I'd rather see Kenta versus Naito, because we never really got that match. Because Naito won the double titles, the IWGP Intercontinental and the IWGP World title at Wrestle Kingdom 16? 15. Whatever 2020 was. And after he won it on night 2, Kenta came out and essentially declared his role for it. But I don't think we ever got a full rivalry because COVID. COVID ruined a lot of story plans. But yeah, we'll see. Tell me what you guys think of everybody who won, and if they should have won, tell me what you guys thought about the matches. What's your opinion on David Finlay? What's your opinion on the rest of the card? Who do you think is going to win it? Just tell me anything and everything. I want to know. Let's talk about it. Get fucked.